Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Woodward Morning Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on The Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. I have more of a voice this morning, so it's going to be a great day today. We've got this. Still no coat, though. It's a smooth 5 degrees outside, and it's going to be great. Good morning,
I think Tuesdays, we're going to make it official as the dictator of this company.
Turtleneck Tuesdays.
Turtleneck Tuesdays. Tuesdays, all of you moving forward will wear turtlenecks. Everybody in the company. Turtleneck Tuesday. I like the sound of it.
I'm kind of here for it.
I'm digging it. I like the way it comes across my tongue. I like it. Turtleneck Tuesdays. Why not?
Yeah, just throw it out, see if it sticks, We'll see.
I don't know. Maybe I go rogue. Maybe I wear a turtleneck every single day for the next 3 months.
How many turtlenecks do you have?
I have to buy, obviously. I have to prepare for this. But
so you just have the one?
You just open.
I have 3 turtlenecks at home.
I feel like you open your closet and it's all just white turtlenecks and you just pick one for the day.
I should do that.
Simon Cowell. You're like the
I
Simon
should do
Cowell
that.
turtlenecks.
The same pants on everything, just the same outfit.
Absolutely. Alabama and Georgia played last night.
They did indeed.
Which honestly, before the game started, I was extremely agitated. I did not want to watch the SEC title game all over again, which is why I felt it should have been Michigan-Cincinnati.
Bunch of losers. I was very excited.
Well, regardless, the game turned out to be actually a very good game. Not surprising. The defenses both stepped up until the end of the game. Injuries played a part, of course, but Georgia finally delivers. And I don't have to hear Neil Rule, who I love dearly. I don't have to hear this Georgia gonna Georgia. I hate that. Guys, Alabama, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just like New England. Never going to happen again. Maybe not in our lifetimes. No. Maybe 30, 50, 40 years. I'm not living that long, so excuse me when I say 30, 40, 50 years. All right? Maybe somebody comes across college football in the next 30, 40, 50 years, and they win 4 titles, 5 titles. But they're not getting near Saban. It is unbelievable what he's done. Having said that, kick rocks, Kirby Smart in Georgia. I can't congratulate you enough.
Yeah.
About time.
Yeah, good for them.
A new national champion from the SEC outside of LSU and Alabama. Good to see Nick Saban so humble in a loss. I mean, that was amazing at the end. The coaches come up to each other. Obviously, Smart is a disciple of Nick Saban. You could see what it meant to him, especially on the Ringo interception, the pick 6. When he was running down, trying to tell him to go down. Like, the range of emotions from Kirby Smart, from when the interception actually happened.
He kept up with him the whole
way.
Where
he jumped in the air and then landed and then ran with him the whole way, trying to tell him to get down. And then when he scored, he's like, all right, go for one. I was so happy for Georgia last night. I really was. Talk about a program that has been patient with Kirby Smart, trusting the process. That's what trusting the process looks like. We're at the top of recruiting boards every single year. We've gotten better every single year. We've lost to Nick Saban, which is not like the worst thing in the world. So no, firing Kirby Smart is never the good move. Being patient over complacent, it is one of my favorite things to always say. And I'll say it again. Last night, patience won. And finally, it all came together. Stetson Bennett, God bless the kid.
Love his story.
To come into the year, third-string quarterback. JT goes down, he works his way up, gets the starting job. JT comes back, but he keeps the job. Nobody in national media believes in this kid. But they're 12-0. And then they lose in the SEC title game. And then everybody bails on the kid. But you know who didn't? The coach, the locker room, players, etc., etc. And here they are, national champions. It was a feel-good story across the board for Georgia last night. And I was all for it. Yeah,
I think you hit it right on the head talking about Alabama. Like, we need to appreciate this time. Like, Nick Saban, the man's paying rent in the national championship game. And finally losing, 10 to 15 players last year into the draft from the national championship game. Now, almost pulling it off, but Bryce Young looked human, of course, the Heisman winner. Jameson Williams went down. Mechie was already out, and you could tell it hurt him. But Georgia's defense, man, and same with Alabama. It was a gritty one. I think the first 10 possessions were all punts and or field goals, and going down late in the game, it was just a great, in my opinion, it was a great national championship game. I know a lot of people called it a snoozer, but defensively, both teams showed up, and we said this. It's not going to be a carbon copy of what happened in the SEC championship game. We knew that. We knew Georgia would be motivated, number one, but Alabama came out and they hit some big plays, but once Jameson went down, you could just tell they didn't have that same big play ability. But you know what? Georgia did what Georgia does, and Neil can say Georgia going to Georgia, but if that means Georgia's going to pound the ball and play great defense, they did just that. And I said yesterday, Georgia can't turn the ball over. They fumbled twice. Alabama recovered one, but he didn't throw an interception, Stetson Bennett, and he threw two against Alabama 3 weeks ago when they absolutely gave up 40 points. So that was the key part. Stetson Bennett, man, you saw how emotional he was after the game. Those are true feelings, man. Like being the first one in, last one out, and finally getting that starting job and keeping it all year. I know there's the comparisons, when they played Michigan to Cade Cunningham, and Stetson kind of showed, listen, he put up a career high in passing yards against Alabama the first time they played. They play again, over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. So Georgia, listen, I picked them to win, and I'm not surprised, but I can't lie. I mean, Alabama is an underdog. I was surprised that at least it wasn't way closer, especially towards the end. But listen, 18-19, that big pick six, it was a big play, man, and that's what it comes down to. It was whatever team needed to play. I mean, it was basically neck and neck down the stretch, and the pick six pretty much put it away for them. So credit to Georgia, and deservingly so. I mean, what was the first time they won in 40 years since 1980?
Over 50 years.
50 years.
No, excuse me, 41 years.
Okay,
I think that's the exact number since the 80s. Herschel Walker and company. But
and this is what it's about. Like Kirby Smart beat a national championship. I mean, listen, anyone besides Nick Saban or Dable Sweeney or Ed Orgeron, it's nice to see. It's nice to see.
Yeah, look, I'm head over heels for these kind of stories. I love them. That's what makes sports. Stetson Bennett, Kirby Smart, overcoming all odds. That defense showing up the way they did against Alabama, yes, I understand. Mechie already out. Williams got hurt. Who, by the way, I'm not sure if it was a dislocated knee or if it was an ACL injury. Either way, I've had that very same injury before.
Didn't look
not
pretty.
Fun.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
Not fun. The swelling is immediate. It looks like you have a huge boulder on your knee. It's not fun. You can barely walk. You can barely move side to side. That's going to require surgery. So hopefully it doesn't affect his draft stock too much.
Yeah, and that's arguably the number one wide receiver.
Yeah, but that's where I'm gonna segue to my next point. To all you, they shouldn't play in the bowl games. All right, I have this theory, and I could be totally wrong, but it's just a theory.
We love your theories.
I truly believe in sports. If you are destined to get hurt, you will get hurt. Regardless if you play a preseason game or a regular season game or a playoff game or a bowl game or a meaningless game against an FCS school early on in the year. I believe all of our bodies are extremely different and unique, and I think some people's bodies hold up much different than others. Is it tragic and unfortunate what happened to Jameson Williams last night? Absolutely. Not fun. Not fun at all. It's a national title game. You're going to tell him he's going to sit out? Really? That's what we're going to do this morning. That's why kids should sit out in these kind of bowl games. Projected first-round pick, he's probably going to fall to the second or third round. Look, I don't know how much any of you believe in, destiny or taking control of it. But you know what? All of you are going to have different paths. Some are going to be first-round picks. Others are going to be fourth. Terrell Davis, Hall of Famer. Look at his path. Shannon Sharp. Amon-Ra St. Brown right now. Look at him. 4th-round pick. You control your own destiny. Regardless of where you may fall, it always leads you to the right path. So I'm not going to sit here and tell these kids that they shouldn't play in a bowl game because they might get hurt. You might get hurt in practice every single day. You may get hurt practicing in the offseason for the NFL Combine. You may get hurt in the NFL Combine. There are no guarantees. So I'm a big believer that if you are going to get hurt, especially a non-contact injury, it was eventually going to happen. Now, contact injuries where, somebody snaps your ankle, breaks a bone, concussion, all right, I'm willing to back off maybe just a little bit from that. But a non-contact injury, sorry. That's a human body structure thing.
Yeah.
Some humans have much better structure than others, even if they're the most fit athletes in the world. Adrian Peterson can come off an ACL injury.
Look like that.
And win an MVP.
Yeah.
Others get an ACL injury who are the same professional athletes and never play again. Injuries are so unpredictable. So, excuse me. I'm not doing it this morning. I'm not even going to acknowledge that players shouldn't play in these kind of games. I think it's ridiculous. I really do. And I think it's ridiculous that we're trying to encourage these kids. Yes, it's a financial move. But what's worse? Never live a life of regrets. At least he played in the title game. You think he's 80 years old? If he's going to make it to the NFL, he was going to make it as a first-round pick or a fourth-round pick.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yep.
You're going to make it in your life, whether you work a 9 to 5 at McDonald's or you work, I don't know, somewhere down the street. If you are going to make it, you're going to make it. It's that simple. Most people don't. Some people do. Get over it. We got to go to break. But before we go, Jeff, could you tell everybody about our new good friends?
Yes.
Over at Cintron, the official energy drink sponsors of the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, Cintron. Let me tell you about it. Energy drink. All you energy drink lovers like me, Cintron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners and with the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice. Buy online at cintronworld.com with promo code RedWings10. Save 10% with shipping included. Cintron is more than just a beverage. It's a lifestyle. You see it right there, the logo. And Cintron doesn't fit in your lifestyle. It enhances it by encouraging you to look good and feel great. To drink it, live with Cintron.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Make sure you're following us on social media on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitch. Downloading the Woodward Sports app on Apple and Google Play. And, of course, downloading the podcast wherever you like to listen, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music. Guys, Pistons won big last night, 126-116. Saddiq Bey and Cade Cunningham both dropped 29 on the night. Jeff, what are your initial thoughts on the game, please?
Yeah, basically 2 30-piece nuggets for Saddiq Bey and Cade Cunningham, and wow, what a game, man. I mean, the Utah Jazz, that's a legitimate Western Conference contender. I mean, maybe even finals contender. They're a good, great team. They were missing Rudy Gobert, of course, the rim protector, but still, I mean, the Pistons set a lot of records yesterday, and let me walk you through them. 78 points in the second half, the most since November 6, 1985, when the Pistons beat the MJ-less Bulls. They also, Cade Cunningham, if you guys were watching, 18-point quarter. And talk about Rookie of the Year candidate. That was the most by any rookie this year in a quarter. Cade Cunningham also scored a career-high 29 points to go along with 8 assists. He is the 4th Pistons rookie to do so since guys like Isaiah Thomas, Grant Hill, and Kelly T back in the 80s. So rare list, good list to be on. And this is why Cade Cunningham, I tweeted this last night, this is why he was selected number 1 overall. Listen, the Jalen Green lovers, all you want before the draft. This kid can not only take over late in games, still a playmaker, can play both sides of the ball. That's That's essentially why he's the most complete player. And listen, Pistons got outscored 35-21 in the first quarter. It looked horrendous. If you're watching the game, a lot of people probably turned it off immediately. But they bounced back. In the third quarter, they scored 40 points, led by Cade Cunningham. And in that fourth quarter, it was all Cade Cunningham. Sadiq Bey, Cade Cunningham both put the Pistons on their back, took down a very good Jazz team, man. And no Dwayne Casey. That's important. No Dwayne Casey was out with COVID protocols, and the team stepped up. Donovan Mitchell was still there. He had 30 points. And the ability, listen, Killian Hayes didn't have a great night. Didn't really play much, to be honest, down the stretch especially. But Sadiq Bey couldn't miss. Cade Cunningham couldn't miss. And this is what you want to see out of guys like, Cade. I mean, you'll have these flashes, but to finally hit that career high near 30 points, 8 assists, basically almost a double-double is just awesome to watch. I mean, we're starting to kind of see what we saw last year in the Pistons. All year, despite having the number 1 overall pick, you saw some ugly losses. Last year, despite having less talent, they were able to steal some wins from good teams. This year, you're starting to see it. In 2022, they beat the Bucks. They beat the Jazz. So if they can stay on this trend, then it's going to be entertaining to finish out the season and watch them. But they have to just stay competing. I mean, you're down 31-21, you don't give up, or 35-21, you don't give up. That's what you got to see out of this team. So they were clearly lacking size again. Hassan Whiteside, I mean, it sounded like a broken record. Abused them in the paint, but down the stretch, they took over. So I can't wait to see Bobo. Didn't play. I think he's expected to play in next game, but it was a great showing by the Pistons. Beat a very good Jazz team, well-coached team, despite not having Rudy Gobert.
8 straight games for Cade Cunningham with 5 or more assists. Playmaker. Can handle the ball, can lead your offense. And last night was a perfect example of what a 1-2 punch looks like. Who are the 2 players that led the team in plus-minus, Jeff? Sadiq and Cade Cunningham. Who were the 2 most efficient shooters on the court last night? Sadiq and Cade Cunningham. Who were the 2 biggest contributors in the point column? Sadiq and Cade. That's what a 1-2 punch looks like. Now, it may not be like this consistently this year, Detroit Pistons fans, but it could be for the next 5-10 years. Again, what did we say going into the season? If you can develop Sadiq Bey into 70 to 80% of what Klay Thompson is, you've got a fine player on your hands who you can match up and pair up with Cade Cunningham night in, night out. That's your 1-2 punch. Build around that. Yes, you have the Killian Hayes project. Yes, you're still figuring out your big man size. Yes, you need to acquire depth. Sure. Again, this team is years away from actually competing. You need these 2 players who showed it last night to develop into superstar players.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even say both. I could argue just Cade. And if Sadiq becomes a star player, an all-star caliber player, borderline, but isn't, the number 1 on the team, but he's a damn good number 2, Jeff, I think you got to be happy here.
Yes.
And for me, last night, 29 and 29 from both of the kids.
That's all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for.
And I think Pistons fan brought up a great point. I was actually going to bring this up as well. I can't wait to see what Cade looks like with a real pick-and-roll threat, a 7-footer, someone who can, run to the basket, catch lobs. I mean, Isaiah Stewart's he's a nice big, but I'm talking about a 7-foot true big, like guys like Joel, guys like Hassan. There's a lot of those guys out there. Can't wait to see what Cade looks like, especially if you get a big who can shoot, and that's Bobo. So we'll see what
the pick and roll is such an undervalued, or I should say an underappreciated
it's better
art of the game.
Yeah.
It's over. Everybody uses it, especially the star players. They know how to use the pick and roll. And I love that point. I think going forward, eventually, if you do have that playmaker, which I think you do in Cade Cunningham, and you have the guy that can come off the block, hit a 17-foot jump shot, or take it to the basket, guys, that you're looking at a 24, 25, and 10 guy a night. That's from your star guard. That's what a number 1 pick sounds like to me. It really does. So yeah, I have no issues with it. I am so excited about this Detroit Pistons team. I really am. That last night is a glimpse of what it could be on a nightly basis. Now, I'm not saying they're going to give you 29 every night, but hey, 22 and 24, 23 and 20, 18 and 26.
Take over the game.
The constant threatening to hit 50 points together. I think that's your future. Cade, Sadiq, every night, 50 points combined. That's your 1-2 punch. Detroit, that's your 1-2 punch. I don't see it a different way. I don't think Killian will ever be a 1 or a 2. I think he's a nice piece.
Yeah.
Hopefully he develops even more. The Pistons are in a situation where they're not going to win anytime soon. So you know what? You can give the kid time to develop. But he is the number 7 overall pick. And yes, that comes with expectations. Excuse me. So I'd like to see more out of Killian Hayes down the stretch. Is Bobo playing tonight? Can we confirm that?
What'd you say?
Is he playing in Chicago tonight?
Who?
Bobo?
Yes. They said the first game he was inactive. The second game he's expected to join the team, but we have to wait closer to the game. I hope
so.
I hope so. I want to see him.
I want to see. Look, guys. 10, 12 minutes. Give me 14. I'd be so happy. Honestly. I want to see what the kid's got. For 3 years now in Denver.
Just been sitting.
He's been
chilling.
The guy that goes viral on social media because of the plays he makes in summer league and practice.
Yeah.
But they never get him out on the court. And look, I get it. Utah's trying to win. Or excuse me, Denver's trying to go for a ring. I get it. But man, I think we can all acknowledge that length, the ability to handle.
Got to find some minutes for him.
I'm not saying he's the best handler, but he can at least get you up and down the court.
Yeah.
He can shoot. Who knows what his potential is? Is he going to be KD? Probably not. Nobody's going to be KD.
No.
But can you get 6 points, 8 points, 4 or 5 rebounds a night out of him?
A couple blocks,
a few blocks, a few threes?
Take it.
You take it.
Yeah.
You need depth right now, and you need a big guy that can hit a jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
It alleviates all the pressure in the paint. It gives Sadiq and Cade the ability to drive to the basket, and if they want to come down and contest, he can dish it out to a big man who can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Jeff, what does the team look like for the rest of the year?
Team, honestly, hopefully like this. I mean, I don't expect them to be teams like the Utah Jazz, but what I expect is to compete. Like there's going to be quarters where you go down, like in the first quarter, 35-21. The question is, how do you respond? And we saw it last night. You've seen games, and this is, I mean, people are mentioning the Charles Barkley comments. There's a reason why Charles said it. It's because he was watching the game and he saw the Pistons didn't look like they gave a damn. And that's at times you can see that when they go down in games, they kind of clock out. But sometimes, like in this game, you go down big in the first half and you come back, climb out of that hole, and you win. And that's kind of what you're expecting to see. This is still a young team, one of the youngest teams in the NBA. They have to learn how to win, and that's important with the young teams in the NBA. They have to learn how to win games. So given the rest of the season, hopefully they improve in terms of first half to second half. The first half can't get much worse. So hopefully in the second half, pick up a couple more wins and beat a couple good teams. That's the goal, like last year, and still find a lottery pick. So
I'm okay with that. I have no issue with it at all. Again, the Pistons won last night, 126-116. Maddie, as somebody who is always downtown, walk me through so far your thoughts on Cade Cunningham.
I really enjoy Cade Cunningham. I think he's a very intelligent player. I think last night he showed up and he showed everybody why he was picked where he was. I think it's a learning experience for all of Detroit, specifically because they haven't played with each other for that long.
Yeah.
So it's going to be we've talked about it before. It's inconsistent. We're trying to find that consistency, but I think every night we're going to see something different. I don't think they're going to connect anytime soon. Are they doing a better job? Absolutely, but I don't see them becoming a team until, I don't know, maybe next year.
Yeah, chemistry is important. They got to get that chemistry.
Absolutely, they'll find the chemistry, but we do have to move on. So yesterday, if you tuned in, you saw how excited Adam was about Black Monday. We're going to talk about that when we come back, but first, the Folding Warehouse.
Guys, the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck, the place to be. Such a good time. Obviously, I'll always bring it up till the day I die or until the day they accept the challenge. Bottom line, Ryan Armani, Braylon Edwards. Cheaters. Cheaters. First round bye. Did not earn it. Did not deserve it. I was not there. I
was the second round. I won't lie.
So I don't understand what happened there. But hey, guys, check it out.
I almost won.
I love it looked like a blast. Everyone had so much fun. People were raving about it in the building. Folding Warehouse, guys, check it out. You throw a football at bowling pins. It's a great time. Great way to enjoy some time with your friends, family, whoever it may be. 2 ways to play: $10 unlimited open play, and of course you can reserve your own private lane. Host up to 10 people for 2 hours. They have full bars in the facility. A $2 Mystic beer machine, as Sawyer Binge knows very well. Check them out, guys. Visit foldingwarehouse.com. That's foldingwarehouse.com. Check them out. They're in Hamtramck.
Hi, I'm Cade Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Detroit Sports On Demand.
DeAndre Swift, he's going to take it all the way for the touchdown. Cade Cunningham opening the corner, he triple.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app today. Take us with you everywhere you go. Search Woodward Sports Network or WSN Live.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Yesterday was an exciting day in the NFL. Most importantly, Adam was excited yesterday and a happy excited. So, Adam, tell us, what was the most exciting thing about Black Monday?
Everything. I love Black Monday in the NFL. Look, it's a somber day for certain families, but look, when you take a high-risk job like that, you got to accept it.
Yeah.
That's what comes with these kind of jobs, all right? So people are always going to get fired. Get used to it, whatever. Oh, my goodness. Nagy, Pace gone. Gettleman, quote-unquote, retires. Guys, next time I get fired from a job,
We'll say you retired.
I'm just going to say I retired.
Yeah.
You can't fire me. I retired. Spielman, Zimmer, out. Flores, shockingly out.
Joe Judge survived.
Joe Judge still in New York.
He's swimming. He's kicking.
Even though reports are he's already lost the locker room.
Oh, God.
You paid a wide receiver $15 million a year.
Well, that's a Gettleman.
To catch 0 touchdown passes. You couldn't even, not even Gettleman. You couldn't get him involved in the offense enough. He was available almost half the season.
Yeah, their offense.
Not one time in the red zone you could have made it happen.
I think they ranked last in points scored. I think the Giants.
Awful. They didn't score, I believe, more than, I think they averaged like 10 points a game or 13 points a game down the stretch. It was awful.
Yeah.
All these moves. I love every aspect of Black Monday, but here's the fallout from it. There are a ton of NFL head coaching vacancies around the NFL.
Yep.
Lots of jobs. Lots of interesting jobs. Jobs I think we can all agree are probably, it's a good project. And others where you probably want to stay the hell away from. So, Jeff, I want to know what's the most appealing head coaching vacancy right now. We'll get to GMs a little later. Head coaching vacancy. Walk me through the best one.
Okay, so to me, well, obviously, we know Frank Reich is apparently staying. So I would say the Colts, but he's staying. So the Colts are out. I had to look at these jobs. You look at the Raiders, you look at the Broncos. Now, do you want to go into the division with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes? Probably not. When you're probably going to be the third best team just walking in. The most important thing to me is what place can I go to that has a dynamic quarterback, good defense. You can walk in, get your GM, and a winnable division. And to me, Chicago Bears. That's who I'm going with because that division itself is more attractive than any other job. You can talk about Miami, but you're going to have to go through New England. You're going to have to go through Buffalo. In the NFC North, you got Detroit, who's right neck and neck with the other teams rebuilding. Apparently, it might be one step ahead, but still at the bottom. You have Green Bay, and that's it. Aaron Rodgers' future, undetermined. Now, if he stays, you got 2 or 3 good years left. Maybe Aaron pulls a Tom Brady, plays till he's 45. I don't know. But the point is, if I'm a coach, I'm looking at a situation where I can walk in and try to win. And now, you don't have a first-round pick for the Bears, but to me, you have your quarterback at least. A guy that we don't know is going to be dynamic, but to me, I think you've seen things that he was put in a very bad situation. If you're an offensive coach, and I'm just guessing like I am, I'm going to the Bears to a division that, Minnesota, getting a new head coach, new GM. So that division to me is the most competitive I can at least win in. I'm staying away from the AFC West. That's a tough pitch to sell to me. I mean, unless you go to the Broncos and you get Aaron Rodgers with the Broncos, maybe you have a chance.
But that's the only job available in the AFC West right now.
Yeah,
and it is
the Raiders.
Denver.
And
Denver's got the roster. I'm not sure how the Bears...
They need a quarterback. They have Drew Lock for the next 2
Chicago
next
needs
year.
a quarterback. Are you sold on Justin Fields right now?
I would say this. I'm more sold on Justin Fields than I am Drew Lock. And I can fix that problem if Justin Fields isn't the guy. It's just like they need to fix it if Drew Lock isn't. You know what I mean?
Okay, here's my problem with that. Chicago needs a GM and a head coach.
Right. So it's more attractive. Yeah,
Allen Robinson will be leaving.
Yeah.
Their defense is in a total rebuild.
They got pieces.
You're talking... Yeah,
Khalil Mack, Randy Gregory,
you're talking
Eddie Jackson.
You're talking a Lions-esque rebuild. 2 full seasons to get the roster to where it's respectable and competitive.
Yeah, but let's say you go to Denver.
That's not including Justin Fields maybe not working out. And if he doesn't work out, you're going to have to draft a quarterback, which means you don't get the luxury of drafting a defensive player or an offensive lineman or a stud wide receiver in the first round over the next 2 years.
Well, they don't have a first-round pick this year.
Well, but that's the reality for the next 2 seasons beyond. I don't like the Bears' job.
No,
I really don't. It's a tough sell. For me, it's Denver. They've got the roster. The defense is unbelievably talented. Yes, they're missing a quarterback, but Javonte Williams in the backfield, a decent offensive line, wide receivers Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. They have a tight end in Noah Fant. That team is literally a quarterback away from being wild card contenders. At least. They're a 10-11 win team with an above average quarterback next year. So yeah, for me, it's Denver. And speaking of Denver, we'll get to it a little later. Aaron Glenn set to interview with the Denver Broncos. I like that. I really like that a lot. But yeah, for me, it's Denver. I'm sorry.
To me, and let me explain just the back with Denver. So with Denver, in my opinion, yeah, you have the roster, but by the time you get your quarterback, in my opinion, listen, this isn't. We're not banking on Aaron Rodgers. Let's just say that. Now, if Aaron Rodgers comes, great, it's the best destination. But if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, he stays in Green Bay. By the time you get a quarterback, your defense, you got guys hitting for agency, and you got receivers hitting for, this team is great right now, but you have Drew Lock right now for probably the next 2 years.
No, they're not even committed to Drew Lock. They've been starting Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay,
Teddy Bridgewater's been hurt.
Bridgewater.
But yeah, he's on a short-term deal.
Okay.
Look, there's no reason. I have more confidence in John Elway than I do of an unknown GM in Chicago and Miami right now.
Okay, but we don't know who they're bringing in yet. So
of course,
you're assuming they're going to bring in a bonehead.
It's difficult. No, it's difficult for me to say that Chicago's the most appealing job when their roster is nowhere near what it was 2-3 years ago. They're an aging defense, well past their prime. They're not the defense you think they are. They're going to have to rebuild on defense. They're going to have to rebuild the offensive line. They're going to lose Allen Robinson in the offseason. Justin Fields has not shown he's a franchise quarterback yet. So you have to figure that out next year. They're in a rebuild. Denver, I'm telling you, a quarterback away, even an average quarterback. Look, what were they, 7-10 this year? With Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock in and out of the lineup. They were 7-10. Shows you how far their defense has come. Shows you how talented their running backs are.
Okay.
Their tight end. But I'm telling you, look, you bring in the right coach. You bring in an offensive-minded coach. Because Vic Fangio was a defensive-minded coach. If you just kept the quarterback situation the same, and you brought in somebody who was more talented on the offensive side of the ball, maybe you could get a little bit more, and maybe the 7 wins turn into 8, 9, or 10.
No,
and they become a wild card team. For me, the Denver job is the most appealing.
And to me, I'm not gonna say it's not appealing, but to me, it's tough for me. Denver's a great roster, but I'm going into there not knowing if I'm even going to be the 4th best team in the division. Like if Las Vegas hits on their next head coach, okay, you guys are neck and neck for 3rd and 4th. So to me, they're not going to be 2 or 1. Chargers, they're trending up as we expect them to, and then you have the Chiefs who are essentially the king of that division.
I think that's a big part of it too, that the Chiefs and the Chargers have a quarterback for the next 10, 12, 15 years. That's a hell of a job to undertake. But look, I could make the argument that Denver has just as talented of a roster.
They do. I'm not going to say they
don't. Both teams outside of the quarterback position, and maybe Kansas City when it comes to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. But everything else stacks up the same. I like Denver.
Minnesota's good too. I see people talking about Minnesota. You got receivers. You just need a quarterback. And they need a new GM and stuff. So, but again, the point is
Minnesota.
I would rather go to the NFC North. That's my point.
I could argue Minnesota are the Denver Broncos, just not as talented defensively, but they have more offensive talent. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Madison, a decent offensive line. Kirk Cousins, that's my problem with Denver.
You need a quarterback.
Like, if I'm a head coach and you really want me to take the job in Denver, in Minnesota, I'm going in and you're going to let me find a quarterback. You're going to give me 2 years to find a new quarterback. And we're going to find a way to get rid of Kirk Cousins because I'm not dealing with it. I'm not going to be 8-9, 7-10, 9-8 in my first 3 years. I'm not dealing with it. Not interested. That's a damn good team. The defense is very good. Stacked at the wide receiver position, decent tight ends, very good running backs, a pretty decent offensive line. I think Minnesota, given that the division is the NFC North, probably maybe the sexiest. But again, Kirk Cousins, that's the problem. You're locked to him too.
And that's the overall point I think I'm hammering is the NFC North is, to me as a coach, more attractive. Now, if you want to pick Minnesota, you want to pick Chicago, that's up to you. Maybe that's my little bias towards Justin Fields, and you have an ability now without Ryan Pace to get a actual functioning good GM in there. But
so this is the problem with Minnesota, though.
But Minnesota's tough.
This is the problem with Minnesota. Everybody is saying, well, it's a weaker division. Okay, fine. If I put Minnesota, let's say I gave Minnesota Aaron Rodgers. Okay? Let's just do hypothetical right now. Are they a Super Bowl team?
No.
If I gave Aaron Rodgers to Denver, are they a Super Bowl team?
Yeah, they're contending, for sure.
That's the point here.
Yeah.
Denver's got Damn good players.
But I get what you're
saying.
saying.
They've got edge rushers. They have a lockdown corner. They have a backfield. They have studs at wide receiver. They have a tight end. Denver's pretty complete.
But what if they're
gonna need a B+ quarterback, which I'm not sure they can either get in the draft right now or in free agency or via trade because they're gonna have to give up so much.
That's what I was gonna ask you. What if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to Denver? He stays in Green Bay?
Look, even if he stays in Green Bay or if he leaves,
Denver's...
I think the whole NFC North, the balance of power will shift in the NFC North once Aaron Rodgers leaves, but I don't think he leaves anyways. I really don't. I don't see him leaving, whether it's to Denver or anywhere else. I don't see it personally. But let's get into the GM vacancies now.
Yep.
You're a GM.
Denver.
You have the crop of the land.
Denver.
Really?
Because you have the most assets. And listen, I'm thinking from two different perspectives. If I'm a coach, yeah, you got more assets, but I want to go to the division I know I can compete in right away, whether it's Minnesota or it's Chicago. If I'm a GM, I'm looking where can I get the most assets. And if you're a GM, you're also thinking what team's the closest. And and now the division's tough, but you have more assets with Denver. If you don't like the team, there's pieces you can move. You have Cortland Sutton, you have Jaron Judy, you have guys on defense, you have 2 running backs, great running backs. So it's tough. I'm going to say for a GM purposes, yes, you're in a very tough division, but at the same time, you ain't out there coaching. I mean, you're moving guys. You can maybe acquire an Aaron Rodgers, acquire a good quarterback. But to me, it's probably either Denver or again Minnesota because you're in the NFC North. But to me, I want more things to work with. If I go to Minnesota, I got Kirk Cousins, okay, Delvin Cook, who's been injury prone. It's tough. It's a tough sell. So give me Denver as a GM just because more assets.
Honestly, if I'm a GM and I want to take on a project where I think I can turn it around, let's say by year 3. I think I'm going to New York.
If they fired Joe?
No, they already got rid of.
Gettleman.
Dave,
my bad.
They already have gotten rid of Gettleman.
We're talking about GM
because I'm coming into a season, or let's be honest, I'm firing this guy at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Just like when Bob Quinn came, everybody knew likely he was going to get rid of Jim Caldwell, no matter the record. It would have taken a division win, a playoff win to have kept him, and maybe not. That's how you knew Bob Quinn was making that move. And I know as a GM, I walk into New York, look, I hate what it looks like right now. I really do.
And they're capped out.
I heard people saying things yesterday, certain people, that they feel more confident in the Giants' future than the Lions, which I totally disagree with. But given that the Giants have a proven track record of turning things around, I think that's fair to say. You can't argue that. But excuse me, you have money locked up in certain positions that is absolutely destroying the team. You have a head coach that has already lost the locker room. You don't have the quarterback situation answered. There are so many holes with the New York Giants right now. So yes, I am more confident in Detroit, but beyond the point. As a GM, if I take over New York, I know this year, Daniel Jones, Joe Judge, they're my puppets. I got them on a string, ready to cut them both off. I'm good. Year 1 a wash. I just got to focus on getting talent in the door. Kenny Golladay, got to find a way to get out of it. Saquon Barkley, got to get out of it.
Yeah.
Not good. Kadarius Toney, I can't believe we spent a first-round pick on it, but hey, I got to figure out a way to move past it. Look, the Giants' job is a difficult job, but as a GM, 1 that wants a challenge, and 2 that wants real autonomy, and you really want to, hey, I can go here and turn it around, I think New York's a perfect destination because the quarterback and the head coach are gone within 2 years. The receiver you paid big money for, you're going to find a way to get rid of, even if you have to eat some cap space. It's fine. But again, New York media, New York market, how quickly can you turn it around? My argument would be you get the quarterback and the head coach right, everything else falls into place. And as a GM, again, if you believe in yourself enough, you're going to go find that quarterback and you're going to go find that GM and that head coach. And at the end of the day, that's going to be what decides your future. Not that you drafted a talented defensive tackle in the 2nd round and now he's an all-pro player. No. That doesn't keep you your job. Finding the right head coach and the right quarterback. And right now, New York has neither of them, which is an appealing thing for a GM.
And they have assets. Easy pointed out, I totally forgot about this, 2 first-round picks, top 10 picks specifically. So we'll see. It's going to be good, though. A lot of these jobs are appealing, so Depends on what coach is right for the job. Denver needs offense. Minnesota they could probably go either way. Chicago needed an offensive coach with Justin Fields, so it's based on need. But the Giants are an attractive job. You just need a
even the
quarterback.
Chicago job. We want to talk about Chicago from a GM's perspective. Aging roster, defense is aging. I'm not re-signing Allen Robinson. Darnell Mooney looks like a nice wide receiver. I've got David Montgomery. I have a young quarterback. If I just bring in the right head coach and I nail the draft on the defensive side of the ball and I inject it with some youth, could very well be a 7, 8, 9 win team next year.
Yeah.
Get an offensive lineman. Nail that pick. Guys, the NFL is the best league for a reason. Why? Because you can turn it around in 1 year. It's not like all these guys in the NFL are scrubs. Mm-hmm. We make it seem like they're all bumps. These are some of the best athletes and football players in the world. You get the right coach who can get the most out of his team. You nail a few draft picks. You add some depth. And you make some good moves via trade. You can turn it around in 1 year. We see this every year. The team that finishes fourth in their division
doesn't take
and
long.
Then they finish first the next year. It happens every year.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no issue with it. I really don't. I like it. Whew. Black Monday, Maddie. My favorite. Honestly, this is why. So much speculation. What the Jaguars are going to do at head coach. We haven't even addressed the Jaguars. They have a franchise quarterback, or I should say potential franchise quarterback, to clarify. Speaking of franchise quarterback, so did anybody see Andrew Luck yesterday? That's what I want to be when I'm 37, 38 years old. I just want to be looking like I'm homeless, but I'm smiling up on national television. And no care in the world for life. RG3 looking like a lawyer next to me.
I know.
And I'm sitting there looking like I just came off the farm, happy as hell. No stress in my life.
I really had to double take at that photo.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. He looks so happy.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for him.
He's so content.
He lives in Indianapolis. Quiet town. People respect the hell out of him. They love him there. Oh, yeah. Love it. Love it. So happy for Andrew Luck. I can't help it. I do have a thing for Andrew Luck. I'm so glad he walked away early.
And the Colts right now aren't sold on Carson, apparently. So, no, they might even call him back up. Beg him to come back.
I wish they would, but I don't think he should come back, honestly. He lost so much weight. He looks so much better now.
Yeah.
When you're a quarterback and you play the way Andrew Luck plays, you're going to have to gain 30, 40 pounds to take those hits. So that's never fun. Maddie?
Well, speaking of things that are shocking, I think the Dolphins shocked everyone yesterday. We'll talk about that more when we come back from break. But first, let's hear about Guardian Alarm.
Well, listen, Guardian Alarm, we talk about defenses in this college national championship. Wow, what a performance. And Guardian Alarm, similarly to those defenses, they get it. Good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control lights and temperatures, even detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It will even let you lock and unlock your doors. Call 800 Stay Out. You heard Fish. Call 800 Stay Out. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, Joy.
It's Woodward Sports.
Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in here on the Morning Woodward Show on the Woodward Sports Network. Guys, players were tweeting yesterday. Everyone was tweeting yesterday. It was the shocking news that came out of the Miami Dolphins. Brian Flores, what are our thoughts on that?
Well, I think we had the immediate reaction yesterday, which was, what? And then I went home, took a deep breath, caught up on some articles, latest reports coming out, whether it was Harbaugh, Ross talking about how he wouldn't pull him off from Michigan. And I took a deep breath. And then this morning I came across another article that Brian Flores was against bringing in Deshaun Watson, which I thought was hilarious because reportedly Deshaun Watson wanted to be in Miami because of Brian Flores. So my head was spinning all night, all morning, and on the way in, I said, all right, I'm still like, what the F? This move still doesn't click with me. And this is just my opinion. Could be totally wrong. But you don't make that kind of move unless you've already got somebody in the door. It's tough for me to imagine them firing Brian Flores and doing an interview with 10 people and actually trying to find... No. I'm sure they came to an agreement already. There's no chance, in my mind at least, again, I could be wrong, that you fire a head coach like Brian Flores without having his replacement already lined up and chosen. It's extremely difficult for me to believe that the Miami Dolphins don't already have somebody lined up.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Brian Flores is not Jim Caldwell. Don't you dare.
There's more of a sample size with
No,
Jim.
there's a big difference. I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. Jim Caldwell, 13-3, got to a Super Bowl, lost it with the Colts. Takes the Lions job, peaks year one, and they do nothing the following 3 years.
More years of...
Okay? Brian Flores, who I could argue does not have the best roster in his division, probably the third best roster, finishes 10-6, 9-8 back-to-back seasons. And I don't think you've seen Brian Flores' peak. But again, like I always do, I sit back and I listen. And I listen a lot, and I listen a lot, and I listen a lot. And as every minute passed by yesterday, the more I became happy for Brian Flores. He dodged a bullet in Miami. That is not an organization I, as a head coach, who I believe has, I think, potential in this league. That's not where I want to be. And I think sooner than later, Brian Flores, whether it's this year or next year, will be in a much better situation, a much better job, with a much better quarterback, with a much better GM, with a much more stable front office. And I think Miami really botched it. And I think long-term they will regret it. I'm not sure who you bring in Miami. Again, outside of Jim Harbaugh, that really gave you the confidence to move off of Brian Flores. Is it because he didn't like Tua? Okay, that's fine. Oh, he didn't like Watson? Okay, that's kind of counter to what everyone else is saying. But okay, whatever. Like, I'll let it slide. That's what we're doing, Miami. And we like your roster. Your defense is over-delivering. Your front seven playing better than really expected. Secondary, we all know it's good. Tua, average. Average. You guys took him number 5 overall. Blows my mind, Jeff. Blows my mind. I'm not happy about the Brian Flores deal. The reports are that Jim Caldwell is under consideration for the Miami job.
Ironic.
And let me just say this. With all due respect to Jim Caldwell, if he was going to get a job, it would have happened a long time ago. So I'm not even going to acknowledge the words that even just came out of my mouth in terms of, quote, unquote, the reports that he is under consideration. Having said that, why the hell would you move off Brian Flores for Jim Caldwell? How does that make any sense? Again, I could be totally wrong here. But me personally, when you fire a stable, good coach, I'm not saying he's the best coach in the NFL, but he's a good coach. 2 winning seasons. He is a good coach. He's beaten Bill Belichick multiple times. He's proven he can coach in the NFL. You don't move off a guy like that unless you got the guy lined up. And I'm sorry, Jim Caldwell is not the guy that everybody is clamoring
hot
for.
commodity.
So it makes no sense to me. And I don't see the guy out there. I don't see the guy out there that justified this firing. Outside of Jim Harbaugh, which everyone is allegedly denying is involved in this, which is fine. I don't care at this point. But I have a hard time believing that you fire a guy like that without already knowing who you're going after. Jeff?
No, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that the comparison between Caldwell and Flores is a little overstated. I mean, Flores has had 3 years in this league, and the last 2 seasons, the first season in Miami went 5-11. He wanted Justin Herbert. They overrided him. They took Tua Tagovailoa. The first season, he won 10 games with Tua as a rookie. Didn't look great, but they won 10 games. The next season, winning 9 games, 2 winning seasons, 19 games in 2 years. What more could you have asked for the guy in a division that's? I just went through it. It's a very tough division. You have Buffalo, you have New England, you have the Jets trending upward. So to give Brian Flores to give him the boot after 2 seasons, 3 seasons of leadership, get players getting better, really building a roster. Just drafted Jalen Waddle. You could see things were starting to click, and right when to do it, you fire him. So I couldn't agree with you more. The point that you hammered, and I want to hammer again, is why fire Brian Flores if you don't already have your replacement ready? Because that would make the only sense to me. If you had a guy you knew is an immediate upgrade over Brian Flores, ready to be hired. If you don't, this move was idiotic. It really was. And I know the Deshaun Watson things are coming out, but Brian Flores is a damn good coach. And to your point, good for him, because he's going to get an opportunity, whether it's Denver, one of these better rosters, he'll be closer to trying to contend for a Super Bowl. Right now in Miami, they absolutely treated him abysmally. I mean, that was bad, what they did to Brian Flores. So 2 winning seasons, you're not safe in the NFL.
I'm glad we have some sensible people that tune into the show.
Yeah.
Because they're in the chat currently saying and explaining to our beautiful chat the difference between Caldwell and Flores. And I appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much. Caldwell was towards the end of his career and his time in Detroit. Flores was just getting started.
3 years as a head coach.
It was not even 3, 2.5. He came in, I think he was hired mid-season or interim mid-season, and then got the full-time job because I believe they won 5 of 7 or 5 of 8 to end that first year. Blows my mind how things work out. Caldwell failed to deliver in a division that was up for grabs, with years where Aaron Rodgers himself was hurt for a majority of the year. And you still couldn't win the division. And I could argue you had, at one point, the most talented team in the division. I could argue that for the other 3 years, you had a good roster, a very good quarterback, and an average coach. And that's why you underperformed.
Now think about it. If they get Jim Caldwell, what rank is he in that division? Behind Bill Belichick,
if they get Jim
Sean
Caldwell,
McDermott.
I'm so excited. They'll be the first 0-17 team.
Think about it.
And then those idiot Dolphins people from that undefeated year who celebrate cutting cake every year, every time a team loses or the last remaining undefeated team loses, they can take that and shove it up their ass. Because I'm tired of seeing that stupid celebration. So tired of it.
Think about that. Him and Salah will be, arguably, you take either one. Maybe Caldwell.
My goodness. No, I take the Jets over the Dolphins job
so
right now.
there you go. He's 4th. Why?
God.
You need to hit on your next head coach.
Give me Zach Wilson's mom at quarterback, and I'll take the Jets over the Dolphins right now. I have zero confidence in what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't. I really don't.
It's going to be interesting.
That move blows my mind. I want to segue a little bit. We have a few minutes left before the top of the hour. Whew. I want to talk about this team because I don't think anyone is talking about them enough, given that the firing happened so long ago. They peaked towards the end of the year. They played a little better. They won the last game of the year, spoiling another team's playoff hopes, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jeff, give me your top 3 coaches you think they should go after, given that Trevor Lawrence is heading into year 2 now. And you don't want to, again, be very careful with the young quarterbacks. You don't want them year in, year out.
Getting new head coaches.
Getting a new head coach, a new offensive playbook. What are you doing? Are you keeping Bevel, or are you moving on and you're getting another coach?
Well, absolutely not. I'm getting rid of Bevel because you need a whole new slate in that organization. You need new staff. The culture there is shattered. And Urban Meyer may be gone, yes, but people talk about Jim Caldwell, and I get it. Jim Caldwell, great culture guy, but Jim Caldwell's damn near, 70 years old. He's not going to be in this league for much longer. He already left because of health issues. You want a guy who can be there and grow with Trevor Lawrence. To me, your hire's in the same state. It's Byron Leftwich out of Tampa Bay. I need an offensive guy. I don't care if it's Byron Leftwich. I don't think Kellen Moore is ready just yet because when Mike McCarthy was out, they had Dan Quinn take over the head coaching duties. So that kind of worried me a little bit. But with Kellen Moore, I think he's an interesting option. But I want Byron Leftwich. You need an offensive guy to grow with Trevor. Now, are those guys going to be a hit? That's up to them to decide. But I would rather go with the younger, more upside than Jim Caldwell. Definitely.
All right.
Jim Caldwell is just, I don't know about that.
Well, let's forget Jim Caldwell. You're Jacksonville. You can make the decision.
Byron Leftwich.
Okay. I like that move. I like Brian Leftwich. I like Kellen Moore.
He works with the GOAT. Listen, good communicator, talented guy. So give me him. I'll take him.
I like the Leftwich move. I think that's the way to go. A guy who has history with the team, understands the organization, was part of winning teams during his time there.
Played there.
And look, I think he's proven to be a good offensive coordinator. I mean, Tom Brady is the GOAT. He is an anomaly. When you have him at quarterback, everybody's going to look better. I think we can all agree to that.
Yep.
Having said that, you could still mess it up as a coordinator. And if Leftwich is smart enough, which I'm sure he is, that he sits back and listens and understands Tom and what he likes and what he doesn't like, that's a sign of a good coordinator and potentially a good head coach. And I don't mind Jacksonville giving Brian Leftwich the gig. Now, I always say that with caution, though, because when you have history with the team and you go back, you're putting your reputation essentially on the line.
Yeah.
This happens in so many other places around the world. We see it with baseball, especially. Players that grow old and they become managers. And then they manage your team for a few years and you suck and you're like, man, I loved you as a player, but I hate you as a manager.
Yeah.
And you never want that. But look, I think Leftwich is the right choice. I like Kellen Moore out of Dallas. I still think he's maybe 1 year too early.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Maybe, especially given how inconsistent the offense is. And it seems like it's a Dallas problem. They've gone through so many different schemes, but at the end of the day, run the ball. You go for over 100 yards. Dak Prescott's going to win you a majority of those games.
Yep.
So for me, I question Dallas a little bit, especially going into the playoffs.
You think Josh McDaniels is a legitimate candidate?
Never.
Okay.
Never should get a job in the NFL as a head coach. Not because he's not qualified. He is so damn good
take over
at being an offensive coordinator. He is the best offensive coordinator in the NFL, I could argue, top 2. Hell, top 3. Whoever you want to put in front of, throw him my way, we can have the conversation. But he is so good at being an offensive coordinator, just like Jim Schwartz is so damn good at being a defensive coordinator. You don't have to be a head coach in the NFL to be considered a successful coach.
Right.
A successful person. You don't have to have that top dog job. It's not meant for everybody. Jim Schwartz learned that the hard way. And look at him now, thriving in Philadelphia as a defensive coordinator.
Well, I don't think he's there anymore.
Well, but I meant like during his time, they won a Super Bowl.
They did. Yep.
And he helped turn that place around defensively. Josh McDaniels goes to Denver, regardless of all the off-the-field stuff that happened. Okay?
Yeah, Tim Tebow.
He left. He came back to New England, and Brady got better. And the offense got smarter. And they were less reliant on Tom Brady. And they came up with gadget plays. Edelman throwing the ball in the postseason against Baltimore. They always had something up their sleeve to alleviate and throw off the opposing team. And I think he's a fantastic coordinator. But I don't think he should take a head coaching job anywhere outside of New England. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he'll eventually probably take over for Bill. So
look, I still think Bill has 3, 4, 5, 10 more years.
But
maybe,
Josh McDaniels is
at
what,
this
40?
point.
He's
but
about 40.
Josh McDaniels is young, and honestly, I think New England's the right fit for Josh. I think if you're ever going to pass the baton to somebody, Bill, I think Josh is the guy.
Yep.
That's the guy that's been by your side for the longest. And look, I like Josh McDaniels. I think he's one of the best offensive coordinators in the NFL. But that doesn't mean you're the best head coach. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. We got to go to break. Whew, that was a lot.
Well, speaking of all these openings, there is a question that I know is on the top of all of Michigan fans' mind. Is Jim Harbaugh in the mix of all this? We'll talk about that when we come back. But first, let's talk about Gypsy Vodka.
All right, guys. Gypsy Vodka is the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. Support our local brothers here in Michigan by picking up a bottle of Gypsy Vodka today. Walk into any store, ask for it by the name of Gypsy. And believe me, you'll enjoy your time. Whether you like your vodka straight or you like it with some cranberry juice. I don't know. You're one of those people. I'm not sure. I don't know what you like with your vodka. All I know is Gypsy's a damn good choice. So again, try it today. Ask for it by the name of Gypsy. And as always, people, drink responsibly.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Woodward Morning Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on The Roar on 99.1, 94.7, and 93.5. Guys, we've talked about it earlier this week. It's been up in the air. There's rumors everywhere. But what would it take for Jim Harbaugh to leave Michigan, Jeff?
Well, I like the famous saying, if it makes sense. If it makes money, it makes sense. But with Jim Harbaugh, I don't think that's necessarily the case, because you saw it this year, took the pay cut, and he says he'll do it for free. He loves coaching. Now, is that at the college level or the NFL level? I think that's the interesting question. And nobody right now can go inside his head and see what he's thinking. But the right opportunity for coaches from college is always perfect. Look at Matt Rule. Left at the collegiate level, rebuilt the program, going to Carolina, and now he's 3 years in, and he looks like he's probably going to get fired. So it depends on the right job. And with Jim Harbaugh, if you look around the league, there's probably a handful of jobs I would say are good fits for Jim Harbaugh in terms of roster ready to compete right now. I mean, if you look around the league, you can look at the Raiders, you can look at even the Denver Broncos, Minnesota, teams in the NFC North as well. I mean, Miami, they already said they weren't interviewing Jim Harbaugh, but you never know. But with Jim, I think it's a real possibility. I've heard 60-40 he's leaving. I've heard 60-40 he's staying. So you really don't know at this point, but if it's the right offer with the right team, and Jim could walk in like he did with the 49ers and have a great roster at least to compete right away, I think he's down to do it. But with Michigan, there's unfinished business, but at the end of the day, watching that national championship game yesterday, I don't know how you're going to defeat those teams in recruiting. You have USC coming along, all these other programs being rebuilt, LSU possibly back on the map. If I'm Jim Harbaugh and I'm looking at where I can have the most success, the NFL is not a crazy thought process to be able to go back to the NFL and try and win games. John's already there, and Jim, in my opinion, it's based on the right situation. Now we can talk about what situation is the best, but at the end of the day, I don't see him leaving unless the price is right and he has the roster there with him to compete right away. Other than that, I don't think he's going to the Bears. I think there's too much there to overcome. Like you were saying, especially with the young quarterback, he's not really sold on Justin Fields. If I'm Jim Harbaugh and I'm going back into the NFL, I need a for sure roster. An Alex Smith like he did with the 49ers. So we'll see, but a lot of jobs open. A lot of jobs open.
I know people like to, clamor over Jim Harbaugh and that he took over such a talented San Francisco 49ers team. I get it. I know you guys just like to diminish everything people do in life. But I just want you to know that the previous 5 years in San Francisco were 5-11, 7-9, 7-9, 8-8, 6-10. That's called a losing franchise. Oh, well, he walked in on Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. Well, the idiot two coaches before him couldn't do crap with him. And he shows up and they're 13-3 with Alex freaking Smith. Then Colin Kaepernick, 11-4-1, and then 12-4. And then, of course, the last season where he was fired because he couldn't get along with Trent Baalke. They were 8-8. Never had a losing season in the NFL. Outstanding record. 3 NFC title appearances. 1 Super Bowl appearance. Harbaugh to the NFL makes sense to me, man.
What situation makes most sense to you?
Situation? I don't think he's scared of going to a tough division. I think he loves challenges. So Denver, I think, immediately comes to my head.
Yeah.
But I think he'll go back. I think he's going to go back to the NFC. And I think he's looking in the NFC North. And there's a team in the NFC North he has ties with.
Yeah, that's Bears.
And I think, in his mind, he can turn it around by year 2, not year 1. I don't think he goes to Chicago and they go from a 6-11 team to an 11-6 team. Now, they very well could be 8-9, 9-8, but I don't see them taking that big of a leap, even if Justin Fields turns out to be the guy. A lot of question marks there in Chicago. Going to lose a lot of players this offseason. A lot of players you're paying way too much money for. So I think year 2, it's fair to say he could probably turn it around in Chicago. But look, man, Indianapolis is still very quiet about Frank Wright. All right? The Miami job, I don't think he takes it.
No.
Lots of Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. What would be more funny and more petty of Jim Harbaugh than to take the job from Urban Meyer and succeed there? What would be more petty in a division, I could argue, is much more winnable than the AFC West or even the NFC North, given Aaron Rodgers staying.
But if you're Jacksonville, you're banking on 2 college coaches back to back. It's
no.
Okay.
Well, Jim Harbaugh is a proven NFL coach.
I understand that, but he hasn't.
I hate that narrative, though. I hate when people say that. Like he's not a college coach. No, he's not.
He's a guy who hasn't
he's
coached
a guy
in
that
about
coached
10
in
years.
college,
Yeah,
was successful, took an NFL job, and was light years beyond successful than what he was in college, and then he went to his alma mater. Like, I get what you're saying, but the context of Jim Harbaugh, that drives me nuts. Dude's a proven winner in the NFL. He got to more NFC title games in 4 years than your franchise in 58 years. Put that into perspective. Drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. People don't know what they're talking about, and I got to sit up here and correct it every goddamn morning. Drives me nuts. I think the pettiest job. You want to talk about pure pettiness? Jim Harbaugh takes a Jacksonville job. I would be in tears. I would bring popcorn the next morning. Just throw it up in the air. Oh my goodness. I would have so much fun with it. That would be so petty of him. He would go there, rescue the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though I think they're going to go for Leftwich. But oh my goodness, how petty that would be. Like, you know what? I just beat Ohio State. Yeah, I'm 1-5 against them, but I'm going to disregard that right now. I just beat Ohio State. I'm going to go off on a high note. Just won the Big Ten title. I'm going to go to Jacksonville and show Urban how it's done. Yeah. I think that would be levels beyond pettiness. And what would be even better and even more petty than that is if Urban Meyer took the job in Ann Arbor. Oh, my God. The cluster, you know what? That would happen. The universe would fold and bend. Oh, my God. Somebody, I need this to happen. Harbaugh's got to go to Jacksonville. Urban Meyer's got to go to Ann Arbor. And both of them have to be successful. That would be the best thing ever. Sorry. Lost my mind for a little bit. Where were we? What do you guys think of that? Seriously. I think that's an amazing thing.
I think it'd be hilarious from a fan perspective. Definitely. It would. It'd be ironic, but I agree with Mr. Thomas. Jim isn't that stupid to go to Jacksonville. Well, got a point there, but I think it'd be funny if Urban Meyer went to Michigan. Jesus Christ.
I'm talking different levels of pettiness, guys. Listen, I've done some petty stuff in my life.
That's top level petty.
That is some next level pettiness right there.
Yeah, top shelf petty.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like that. I am inspired by that level of pettiness. It takes a certain human to pull that move off. And if Urban Meyer went to Ann Arbor, oh my goodness, the frenzy in media, all the Ann Arbor people would be up in arms. How could we do this? We went against our own. Oh my God, the crybabies would all come out. It might cause World War III. World War III will not happen because of, any political reason. No. It's because Urban Meyer was hired by the University of Michigan. Oh my God. That is some WWE stuff. I love that comment. That is some scripted stuff. That could only happen if it was scripted. Unbelievable. Where were we? Jim Harbaugh to leave Michigan. You know what? At the end of the day, I think it's going to be, you're going to have to offer a lot to Jim Harbaugh, not just financially, but power-wise, to get him to leave Ann Arbor. He's in charge of everything there. Who does he report to? The AD? No, the AD reports to Jim Harbaugh in Ann Arbor. It's a different power cycle there. College, you have so much power. Matt Rule's learning that the hard way. He did a hell of a job in Baylor. Hell of a job. Hell of a coach. Hell of a program. NFL's a different beast. You got to win now. You don't get 4 or 5 years to turn it around at Texas, USC, Baylor, Ann Arbor. Doesn't matter where. No. It's the NFL. You win now. 2 years in, you're losing. I'm going to ask questions. Doesn't matter what team you are. Doesn't matter how bad your franchise is. So if you want Jim Harbaugh to come to your NFL team, get ready to give up a lot of control. And your GM may not even be happy with it. And honestly, outside of Bill Belichick, who has been the owner, basically, the GM and the head coach of that franchise, who else is really succeeding doing that? So for me, I think the likely scenario is Jim Harbaugh does stay in Ann Arbor. I think there's an aspect of this that may change his decision, which is, will Michigan ever lower their academic standards? And I don't think they will. And power to them. I get it.
Yeah.
But last night, I saw 10 NFL players on the defensive side of the ball from both teams. I saw 10 players, both sides combined, that are going to be playing in the NFL day in and day out. Michigan have what? 1, 2
that are leaving?
That are leaving and may not have one next year?
Yeah,
there's just a huge talent gap, guys. And when the academic standard is up here, but at Georgia and Bama, not because they're not smart enough kids, but, Michigan, they have this extreme level of, we're folk from Ann Arbor. You know what I mean?
With the pinky, yeah.
With the pinky thing, whatever that is.
Okay, was that supposed to be an Ann Arbor accent? What the hell was that?
I have no
what
idea
did I
what
just
that
hear?
was, honestly, Fish. I don't know. That kind of just came out in the moment.
I
probably offended a ton of people, but I don't care.
That was more like
and
Boston or New York.
For it.
Of course you're not. That doesn't surprise me.
Anyways, back to my point. Michigan, you're here in terms of academic standards, and Georgia and Bama are here. And you know what? That's the end. Even Ohio State, that's the end all be all at the end of the day. You want to get all the talent available, you got to allow all the different kind of people. Not every football player can get a 3.2, 3.5 GPA and play for the University of Michigan. I'm sorry. It is difficult. Yes, I'm sure they get to make their way through college, but listen, guys, this academic standard thing does have an impact on recruiting. It does. And if he thinks he can succeed without it, great. But I think it does play a part. So we'll have to see how it plays out. We got to go to break. Yeah. Aaron Glenn to Denver. Are Detroit Lions fans ready for this, Maddie?
I don't think so. I don't think we're ready for any more change, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do. No, it's all about possibilities. We'll talk about that after the break. But first, let's talk about Lady Jane's.
Yeah, listen, guys, I'm wearing a hat. As you know, I need a haircut. And I know a lot of you guys watching this do as well. But let's be honest, we're a simple bunch. We like simple stuff. And like football 5 days a week, we like things uncomplicated. And like Lady Jane's haircuts for men, walk through those doors I'm looking at right now. You sign in, you sit down, and before you know it, your hands have been clean. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. You walk in anytime because it is wicked awesome.
Everybody, yeah, everybody, yeah. Take it up to the top, everybody never stop. Make it loud, make it real, let them know that we're here with everybody. Yeah, everybody.
Hi, I'm Cade Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Good morning and welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Happy Tuesday. We're talking about possibilities all across the NFL, but closest to home, defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn is set to interview with the Denver Broncos. Jeff, how are we feeling about that?
Well, Aaron Glenn, to me, he's done a damn good job in his first year with Detroit as the DC. And I think, listen, credit to him for, number one, getting a head coaching interview. Because last year, people forget, he interviewed for the New York Jets job, and that went to Robert Saleh. So this year, very well-deserved. He's a leader of men, and guys look for that as their head coach. And with Aaron Glenn, though, the question is he ready? And it's an interesting question because he's been a defensive coordinator. He was a cornerback coach, secondary coach last year. I'm not sure, but from his leadership standpoint and just being a developing standpoint, because that's what you got to be as a coach, man. You got to help develop players. He can do that. And you've seen in the New Orleans Saints, he developed Marshawn Lattimore. He developed the Williams, the safety, came to Detroit. Supposed to develop Jeff Okudah, got injured, but Awarrior, career high in picks. You have Tracy Walker, breakout season. You have undrafted free agents, Jerry Jacobs, A.J. Parker, playing good. Dean Marlowe, guy we didn't know of, playing pretty good, although in the beginning of the season he didn't look as good, so improvement. That's what's key. And with Aaron Glenn, Denver definitely needs to. Now, is he the right hire? Probably not. I mean, for Denver, they need an offensive coach. I mean, that's clear as day. They had Vic Fangio. I don't think the defensive coordinator route is the smart move, but despite it, maybe that's me being biased because I want Aaron Glenn to stay. But the point is, with Aaron Glenn, listen, with points now, the statistics weren't there for the Lions. I mean, he ranked 31 in points for the defense and 29 in yards on defense. So the statistics weren't there. It's more so about being a leader amongst men, developing guys. Next year, I think you give him more time because Aaron Glenn can be a DC to get your defense in the top 15, top 10. This year didn't happen because of the talent. But I would say if I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm going to wait. And he said it himself earlier in the season. I want to be the best defensive coordinator for Detroit. one of the best to ever come through Detroit, which I respect that. And you give him one more season, more talent, you draft an edge rusher, you draft linebackers, maybe he can start statistically improving this team, and therefore he'll get more interviews. So maybe it's a little too early, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's bad he got an interview. I'm happy for him. Great guy. We knew it was coming. Now, we didn't expect it year one, giving a lot of Lions fans, getting us a little scared. But at the end of the day, man, he is built to be a head coach. He's great, man. We got a steal in Detroit, and really that hasn't been the case for quite some time. Having a DC in his first year or OC get a head coaching gig or interview, it's spectacular to watch, man. I wish him luck, but I would say he stays one more season, 2 more seasons before he really starts looking at other options.
Only Aaron Glenn knows if he's ready to be a head coach. No one else. Only he knows. He sees it day to day with Dan Campbell. He's seen it before on other staffs. He knows what a head coach looks like, what it commands, the responsibilities that come along with it, the pressure. He knows there's a big difference between being the defensive coordinator for a talentless defense and the head coach of a good roster, bad roster, great roster. Big difference. And should Denver offer him the job? Honestly, if I'm Denver, I'm looking at what he did with the secondary players. And I'm saying, all right, I got Patrick Surtain. Now, if I can go find another corner in the 4th round, 3rd round, and they can play like that, and we can have games where we're holding our opposing teams under 20 points 8, 9, 10 games out of the year, win a lot of football games with this guy. But I'm also inclined to be fair, and as much as I want to say he should get an interview and I'm happy for him, Denver are coming off Vic Fangio, who is one of the better defensive minds in football. They're not interested in defense, in my opinion. They're going for an offensive-minded guy. Why? Because defense was not the problem for Denver.
It's offense.
Throwing the football, getting the quarterback right, that was the problem. Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, good offensive line, good tight end, good wide receivers, but no stable quarterback who can win you football games. That's why. So, yes, Aaron Glenn will interview, and I'm happy for him. But I don't think he's going to get the job.
Yeah.
Not in Denver.
No.
If you were telling me maybe Miami, I would still have a hard time believing it, because why would they get rid of Flores again unless they knew who they were getting and it was a premier coaching talent?
Yeah. Not a first-year DC.
Not a guy who's first year as a defensive. Oh, look, I really think...
He's great, though. He's great.
If I'm Aaron Glenn and the market is there for me and people are looking at me and saying, all right, we want this guy. He looks good. I got to ask myself, what's better for me? Going to a project or waiting a year, getting more talent, being able to showcase more of what I'm capable of and this team, and then moving on after 2 years to maybe a better position somewhere else? Or do I take the position now as a head coach and I gamble? And you guys have to remember, once you take a head coaching job, you better hit. You very rarely get another opportunity, especially if it's a disaster. Especially if it's a disaster. You think Matt Nagy's going to get another head coaching job right away? Probably not. He'll go be an OC somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if he turns it around there, people will look back on his record and say, you know what? Matt Nagy walked into a GM who was a complete buffoon, who drafted Mitchell Trubisky, it busted the first year, and then Nagy showed up, won 12-4, won the division, botched field goal away from winning a playoff game. Oh, he made the playoffs 2 out of his 4 years, had a winning record. Oh, man, he's doing a really good job here as an OC. You know what, man? I believe in our GM. He believes in Nagy. I like the move. Let's do it. Don't be surprised if Nagy gets a job or Zimmer gets a job in 2-3 years. It would not surprise me. Zimmer may be a little bit more surprising, but Nagy would not surprise me. They're going to go be OCs, DCs. They're going to turn it around somewhere. They're going to do a good job. And if they do, they're going to be looked at as potential head coaches. Nagy has a track record. And again, if I'm Denver, why would I hire a defensive coach when I just got rid of one?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the teams that are successful with a defensive-minded coach. Tom Brady, or excuse me,
Bill
Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
He has Mac Jones. Now, Mac Jones is a rookie quarterback, so I should argue Mac Jones has Bill Belichick, but he's the anomaly. He's one of, if not the best coach ever. Mike Vrabel, outstanding how they were able to win games without Derrick Henry. So it just shows the kind of coach he is. Sean McDermott? I mean, the Bills I feel like they play down every week. They're inconsistent, but they got the quarterback too. Who else is winning defensively in the NFL? Not many teams. Look at your last 5 Super Bowl winners. Outside of the Patriots. Which ones were really like defensive-minded coaches?
It's tough.
Doug Peterson wasn't defensive-minded. Andy Reid isn't defensive-minded. Only Bill Belichick. Only Bill Belichick.
Dan Quinn got there years ago.
Bruce Arians, he a defensive-minded coach? Granted, the defense did win them that game in the Super Bowl. They got after Patrick Mahomes.
Those Todd Bowles, he was doing a good job.
Come on. League is heading towards offense, and I'm starting to believe that Eric Bieniemy will never get a job. Honestly, if it wasn't last year, how the hell do you expect him to get it this year?
Yeah, the offense digressed this year. So
not only did it regress, I mean, they're coming off a Super Bowl loss. They may not even make the Super Bowl this year. Like, if anything, he should have gotten hired after the Super Bowl win. Like, for me, I think teams are pretty dived in and know enough to say, look, we know Andy Reid. He's not giving play calling or decisions to anybody, even Bieniemy. So why do we believe he's some genius? Maybe that's the reserve on him. I understand it. I just find it tough to believe. I really do. Aaron Glenn sent to interview in Denver. Lions fans, if you want my advice, don't even worry. Denver's not going to hire Aaron Glenn. Okay? And I hate to bring this up, but damn it, somebody needs to bring it up. Do you guys understand how the Rooney Rule works in the NFL? You have to interview a specific amount of minority coaches. It's a must. We see Jim Caldwell's name thrown around all the time. Eric Bieniemy. Now Aaron Glenn. Now, I don't like that. I think it's actually extremely rude to qualified minority coaches. And I don't even like calling them minority. I think it's really annoying. But whatever. So that you're going to see a lot of interviews happen like this that are all smoke and mirrors because they've probably already decided who they actually want. But I do believe Aaron Glenn will be a head coach in this football league. I just don't think it's this year, and I don't think it's in Denver. Now, if you rumor him somewhere else, maybe I'll reconsider. I don't think he'll be up for the Minnesota or the Chicago job. Jacksonville, I don't think Jacksonville, again, are going to go to a defensive-minded guy coming off of Urban Meyer. I don't think Denver is. So where's Aaron Glenn really going to get a job this year? I don't think this is the year. I think Aaron Glenn maybe next year, he moves off of Detroit. That makes more sense to me. Acquires more talent defensively through the draft with Brad Holmes, and they look more respectable, and they finished anywhere between 16 and 20 in terms of statistical categories next year. That would make sense to me. That would be improvement, and that would be, all right, yeah, he knows what he's doing. Let's see if he can be a head coach. And if he can't, great. You know he's a very good defensive coordinator. Jim Schwartz, a very good defensive coordinator. Steve Spagnuolo, very good defensive coordinator, not a good head coach. Just because you can't be a head coach does not mean you don't have a role to play in the NFL. Is Aaron Glenn ready to be a head coach? I'm not sure. If he got a job, no one would be happier than me. But I think it makes sense to stay. And given the current hiring teams, I don't see the fit. I don't see the team that's dying for a defensive-minded head coach right now. I don't. So, Detroit fans at ease. I don't believe he's going anywhere. Take my word for it. It doesn't make sense in Denver. So, yes, he's interviewing. But it's just reps for him.
Yeah.
He gets to practice what an interview process looks like. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, he interviewed last year for the Jets, for their head coaching gig. So he came over to Detroit.
I have no problem with it.
Yep.
He'll probably stick around. He's not going to Denver. Take it from me.
Inside source.
I've watched this league for way too long. Nobody moves off a defensive-minded coach
for a
defensive-minded coach, especially when the offense looks anemic at times and the quarterback play is not good. They're looking for an offensive-minded coach. Kellen Moore, Eric Bieniemy, Joe Brady, even though he got fired from Carolina, but I'm just throwing names out there on the offensive side so you understand Aaron Glenn is not the choice. He'll get the interview. He will not get the job. Sleep at ease tonight. Fair?
Fair. Speaking of offensive-minded people, we're going to talk about who the Lions should pursue as an offensive-minded person when we come back. But first, MyBookie.
All right, guys. MyBookie, the premier sports betting option for you. Use code Woodward. Sign up today. dollar for dollar match. You put in $100, they'll give you $100. You want to put in $50, only put in $50. They'll match you with $50. Guys, a lot of money being thrown around here. You already missed out on the chance to bet the Alabama game, which you would have lost if you would have listened to me, so thank God you didn't. But listen, NFL wild card, Super Weekend. No better time to bet in the NFL than the wild card. Playoff time, baby. Niners in the points, give me it all day. Rams money line, I'm debating still. I've got my bets ready. My bookie's where it's at, people. Sign up today, again, using code Woodward. And if you suck at betting like Jeff, or you're just an addict like he is, well, damn it, you should call the Gambling Problem Hotline at 1-800-270-7117.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitch. Download the Woodward Sports app on Apple and Google Play. And make sure you're downloading the podcast wherever you like to listen, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music. Anthony Lynn is out as the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. So, who should we be pursuing?
Oof. Jeff, I don't mind you starting because I think where I'm going to go with this.
We have similar.
We're probably gonna
go different ways.
We're probably gonna sink the ship.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'm going in-house. I'm going Ben Johnson, and this is why. Listen, and this isn't about play calling. This is not because listen, Dan Campbell very well might keep play calling duties next year. It's about who's going to be helping create these plays for offense and make it as dynamic as it's been the last 5-6 weeks. And to me, it's in-house. It's Ben Johnson. Reported earlier in the season already when Anthony Lynn had his duties taken away, they turned to tight ends coach Ben Johnson. Now, Ben Johnson, little history on him. Was with Dan Campbell in Miami when he was an intern coach. The guy's been in the league for quite some time. He's coached pretty much every position on offense, wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends. He's done the tight ends for the Lions for the last 2 years. You saw the growth in T.J. Hawkinson from year 1 to year 2, and the offense is significantly improved. You've seen it, not just numbers wise, but if you watch a Lions game and you see the creativity that's been happening now. Dan Campbell's calling the plays, but who's creating them? That's an interesting question. Who's creating these plays? Is it Deuce Staley? Is it Ben Johnson? Reportedly it is. And to me, based on the evidence we've seen on the back half of the season, it's Ben Johnson. Now, there's going to be the argument, you have to take a chance on Ben Johnson. Yeah, you're probably right. You have to take a chance on him. It might not work out. But what I've seen over the last 6 weeks in terms of pass plays and what he's creating, I like Ben Johnson. I don't know. Now, there's the Joe Brady's, there's other guys, but those guys have failed at what they've done, offensive coordinator. I'll take Ben Johnson. He's done a damn good job, and guys can, whenever I hear who guys vouch for people, vouching is important. Guys on the Lions vouch for Ben Johnson. Give me Ben Johnson. I'll take
All right,
it.
Dan. Here you go. Your good friend here talking to you. And I hope you really take this into consideration, and I'm sure you will. Not only should you not be pursuing outside of the building, you shouldn't be pursuing at all. What I saw from Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson towards the end of the year, I can get on board with. With more talent, I like the way the offense looked. Look, Dan, I praised you yesterday for it. What does leadership look like? Mm-hmm. When you're able to make a decision that not everybody in the room is on board with in the micro, but in the macro always plays out. That's what happened with Anthony Lynn. And I see no reason why you should try and hire a new offensive coordinator. I think Dan Campbell, like Sean Payton, his disciple, should be calling the plays going into next season. Now, if you want to promote Deuce Staley to OC and make Ben the assistant, I think it's a bunch of hot garbage. Ben Johnson's the one doing all the work, us alongside you, You got along with him. You made it very clear you didn't gel with Anthony Lynn like you expected. Great.
Right.
You know what you want. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. That is one of the biggest challenges in life. Figuring out things you like and don't like and sticking to the things you like. You did not like Anthony Lynn? Great. Move on. Thank you. Why pressure yourself into having a new OC, even if it's in-house? Now, you want to promote Ben Johnson, new title? Fine. Deuce Staley, new title? Sure. OC, I don't think necessary. Especially from what I've seen over the last 8 weeks. Believe me, I prefer the Dan Campbell offense over the Anthony Lynn offense.
Yeah.
Much more fluid.
Agreed.
Much more effective. Creativity. Now, the trick plays, I think, eventually chill out a little bit. But hey, like, you can get away with it right now. I don't mind it. It's fun. Good. Now go win football games. And Dan, you said it yourself. I did not gel with Anthony Lynn. Great. Glad you're gelling with Ben Johnson. People like him. The players like him. You like him. Make the move.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make him the single OC and he does everything, again, you're putting your job on the line here, Dan, by making that decision. But you can make that decision. Or what I recommend is you keep the OC calling duties. You know what you like, Dan. You admitted it.
Yeah.
There's no need for you to pass it over because you're the head coach. No. A lot of head coaches in this league call the plays now. It's very common. I have no issue with Dan Campbell wanting to call the plays. Hell, I encourage him to do it. He should absolutely be calling the plays. And I don't think they should be looking to hire an OC from the outside or even on the inside. If you want to promote people and give them better titles, whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, I think the best case scenario is not even Ben Johnson or Deuce Staley. I think it's keeping it with Dan Campbell.
To me, the argument, and Dan Campbell's done a great job play calling, but the answer I would give back is who's behind these plays. Is it Dan making them? Is it Ben? Is it Deuce? I don't know. Now, reportedly, it's Ben, and if it is Ben, you got to give him a shot at offensive coordinator. I mean, I get Dan. The question isn't about who's calling plays. I think it'll be Dan regardless. But my point
you want Dan calling the plays. Now, who's designing them?
That's
scheming. Ben Johnson
I think the
comes into play.
Offensive coordinator.
Whoever comes into play in terms of scheming up a game plan, designing the plays, etc., etc. Whether it's Ben and Deuce mixed together, I don't care. What I do know is I watched the guy call plays for almost 9 weeks. He got better.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was, blowing me off, off my couch every time. But why would it make sense for him to go out and hire a new offensive coordinator and implement a new game plan going into year 2? When they have an easy schedule, the roster will be better, and they should be contending for 7, 8, 9 wins next year. Why would he do that? I think he keeps it to himself, and I think he should. And I think he could be more successful keeping it to himself than trying to get somebody to call plays for him.
Yeah.
Just what I think.
And you're probably right. Consistency is important. I think they close the season with Dan Campbell calling plays. Next season, they probably are going to open with Dan Campbell calling plays. I don't think they go to Ben Johnson or Deuce Staley. Let's just say, theoretically, next season at the beginning, they're like, all right, Deuce, all right, Ben, call plays. Let's see how many wins we can get. I think Dan sticks with it, but the question is who gets the title? I mean, it's all about titles in the NFL. Eric Bieniemy is a great offensive coordinator, but is it Andy Reid doing at least calling plays? Yes, it is. So I could see something similar with the Lions where Ben Johnson or Deuce Staley, it could be either at this point, move into that OC role, and then Dan just sticking with the play calling duties. I agree with you. I don't think they change, and if they do, you better hope it pays off because next season's a big, big season for not only Dan Campbell's projection, but the rest of the team. So
look, I've seen the Deuce Staley thing. Can you guys explain this to me? Why are you going to promote Deuce Staley, okay, when you have what you like already? Now, maybe Deuce Staley does understand what Dan Campbell likes, and he's going to call a very similar game to Dan Campbell. Okay, fine. But you have to understand, as a head coach, when you put people in place of power, or I should say when you put people in a position of power, and they don't deliver, a.k.a. Anthony Lynn, and potentially a Deuce Staley or Ben Johnson, you're going to run into a problem. That's now 2 offensive coordinators you've potentially missed on. I want you guys to think about this stuff. You guys have to look at the context here, and also look at the optics. What does it look like? Dan Campbell promotes Deuce Staley, who's never been an OC before. Lions struggle the first 5-6 games of the year. That is bad optics. Dan Campbell keeps the job, calls the plays, promotes the two. They help design the game plans week to week. They come up with the plays. He calls the game. The lines are middle of the pack, winning games, losing some, whatever ends up happening. Much better optics. Being self-aware, super vital in life. Anywhere you work. Dan Campbell, I think you're this close to being completely self-aware. You said it yourself, man. I just never gelled with Anthony Lynn. He didn't know what I liked and what I didn't like. We could never figure it out, etc., etc. Great. You know what you like. I would love for my head coach to take that responsibility. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to bash him for doing that. So, yes, I think Dan Campbell should be the play caller going into next year. And whether Deuce and Ben Johnson get title promotions and they come up with the game plans, that's fine. That's fine. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. But on the field, Dan Campbell's now got, what, 8, 9 games, calling games? Deuce Staley has 0. So, come on, guys. Wake up a little bit. Let's not make this a bigger deal than it needs to be. I'm on board. I really am on board with Dan Campbell keeping the job. Jeff, if you had to choose between the two, though, unfortunately, because I'm going to ask you this question.
Okay.
Deuce for OC?
No, I've been on Ben.
Deuce or Ben for OC? Because it sounds like Deuce right now.
It sounds like Deuce. It definitely does. But all year, I've been pretty consistent of saying Ben Johnson. I'm going to stick by it just because of with my eyes, I've been able to witness Lions football, and I've watched this offense, week to week improve in the passing game. And that was the biggest critique early in the season is, okay, you can run the ball, but you got no receivers. You got no weapons. They added Josh Reynolds. Amon-Ra emerged. They use him more. Maybe that's credit to Ben Johnson for getting Amon-Ra St. Brown more involved. But the offense, to me, has taken a 180 in the last 6 weeks. And if you want to say it's all Deuce Staley, then okay, then it may very well be Deuce Staley. But from what I've read and from what I've heard, it's maybe it's a combination of the two, but more so Ben Johnson because he does design the play calls. So give me Ben for OC. Maybe, and that's just me taking a chance. Listen, young guy, I preach creativity, and I've seen creativity, so I'm sold on Ben Johnson. But I know a lot of people talk about Deuce Staley, and listen, I respect Deuce Staley. He needs at least a coordinator role in this league, definitely. But this year, man, it's tough to sell me Deuce Staley considering what I've witnessed in the passing game is credit to Ben Johnson. So I'm going to go with Ben Johnson for OC. I'm going to stick by it.
Yeah, look, again, I want my head coach to feel empowered and make any decision he wants to make. Whether I agree with it or not, it does not matter. And for me, again, I said this yesterday, when Dan Campbell makes a leadership-level move, takes away play-calling duties from Anthony Lynn, that early on in the year, when they were winless, and he not only does a better job as the season goes on, but he's able to maintain locker room balance, no outbursts, no frustrations. Yep. That, for me, is what a leader does. That's an example of what true leadership looks like. And I think step 2 to it now is keep it internal. I don't think you got to hire outside of the building. If you want to promote Deuce Staley or Ben Johnson, I don't care at this point. All I do know is my expectation week 1, NFL Sunday, 2022, Dan Campbell better be calling plays. My opinion. What I think should happen. We got to go to break.
Well, guys, when we come back, we've got end of season awards. But first, actually, we don't even have a sponsor. So we're just going to go to break, and we'll see you back here when we come back.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm Cade Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us here on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Guys, the end of the regular season is here. We've got some awards. Adam, Jeff.
All right, we'll start with the obvious, MVP.
Yep.
Jeff, Bruce Arians came out and said it would be a travesty if Tom Brady did not win the MVP award? Are you on board with this?
I think Tom always has a case. Listen, with the injuries they've suffered this year, you have the Antonio Brown debacle, of course, but at the end of the day, you got to look at their losses. The Bucs have lost to the Saints. They've had some bad losses. Now the Green Bay Packers had one ugly loss to start the season. They had one loss with Jordan Love starting at quarterback. And now they have a loss at the end of the season as well to the Lions when they didn't play starters in the second half. To me, it's Aaron Rodgers, and it's his award at this point to lose, considering statistically it's there. Now, Tom Brady, passing yard-wise, is up there. But for Aaron Rodgers, his value to the team, and Tom Brady, the same exact thing, but it's tough to me. I'm going to still stick with Aaron Rodgers. I've been saying it all year. I'm not going to shy away from it. Although, Tom, listen, when AB left and had that tantrum and he came back, and I know it's the Jets, but he beat the Jets, got to give credit to him, man. Without AB, without Chris Godwin, he has essentially Gronk and Mike Evans, and they're doing work over there. But no, I'm going to stick with Green Bay. They lost Tunyon, they've lost some guys. They didn't have David Bakhtiari for a majority of the season. They still don't have Jair Alexander. Ton of injuries on the Packers. They're still winning games. Give me Aaron.
All right. I thought long and hard about this.
Yep.
I really took a step back, and I wanted to be fair. Who is the most valuable player to their football team? And the Green Bay Packers without Aaron Rodgers this year, 0-2. It's tough for me not to give him the award. But did anybody have the Cincinnati Bengals winning the AFC North? Somebody remind me? Nope. Nobody in national media picked the Bengals. Nobody. Not even their own media outlet in Cincinnati had the Bengals winning. Not a single person. Did anybody project that a John Grudenless, Henry Ruggs-less, mid-season disasters, off-the-field controversies, an interim coach who no one had ever heard of up until that point would be a 10-7 football team making the playoffs and beat the Chargers on the last day of the season? Anybody? That for me is what an MVP is. Now look, Aaron Rodgers probably wins it. But if I'm placing my ballot today, Joe Burrow number 1, Derek Carr number 2, Aaron Rodgers number 3 on the list. And look, again, I was up here 2 weeks ago, all in on Aaron Rodgers getting the MVP. Did him sitting, is that a factor? No, not really.
Yeah.
Again, if he wins it, I won't be upset. Hell, I probably shouldn't even put Derek Carr above him. I'll be fair. Burrow 1, Rodgers 2, you can swap them, I don't care, and Derek Carr number 3 in my ballot.
My pushback on Burrow, and although he needs respect, definitely needs to be in the top 2,
He sat
top
out the
3.
last game of the year?
No, because Aaron didn't play the second half. It's not about that. It's about compare the two teams. Who has a more dynamic offense? To my point, or your point, it might be the Bengals. They have more receivers. They have a tight end at least who's pretty good. They have a run game, Joe Mixon. I know Aaron Jones is on the Packers, but they only have one wide receiver essentially. And statistically is important. I think listen, Joe Burrow threw a ton of touchdowns this year, but it's so hard they won 13 games.
Let's agree here. If Joe Burrow and Aaron Rodgers missed the season, the Bengals and the Packers would probably lose a lot of games.
Yeah, we can agree.
So I think they're both valuable. Look, again, I'll back and forth on this. I don't mind putting Burrow number 2 on the on my ballot.
But he's up there. He's up there.
Those three, I just want to make sure I don't go 5-10 minutes talking about the MVP of the NFL without mentioning Derek Carr and Joe Burrow. I think they deserve to be in the conversation. Aaron Rodgers, I think, a deserving winner. I don't think Brady is in the conversation. At least he's top 5, but for me, he's not top 3. He isn't. Moving on, Defensive Player of the Year. I think this is the unanimous one. And Offensive Player, honestly.
Yeah, they're both easy.
I don't see either of us
disagreeing.
Deviating. I'm going to choke right now. I don't see us deviating from T.J. Watt and Cooper Kupp. But let's talk about T.J. Watt and his season. Tied the NFL sack record.
I think there was another sack, a strip sack, that was called back. Tyler Huntley, it was the tuck rule, and he would have broke the record, but he didn't. He tied the record. And dominant season, man, he's missed some games. If he didn't miss some games, that man would have definitely broke the sack record. And arguably, you can make a case for him being not top 4, maybe top 5, top 6 MVP candidate. Because without T.J. Watt on that Pittsburgh Steelers team, they're not in the playoffs. Let me tell you that. And T.J. Watt, excellent season. He's dominant, and he deserves Defensive Player of the Year, no doubt, unanimously.
All right, I'm going to agree with you on T.J. Watt. Let's move into the Triple Crown winner himself. Cooper Kupp led the NFL in receptions, yards, and touchdowns, the first wide receiver to do so since trivia.
Calvin Johnson?
No.
Oh, Steve Smith.
Steve Smith. There you go.
Steve Smith. I thought you said yards. I didn't know you meant
No, Triple Crown. Yeah,
Yep,
all
Steve
three
Smith.
categories. He becomes only the 4th player in NFL history to do it.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp, well-deserving of the Offensive Player of the Year award. I don't think there's a disagreement here. Jonathan Taylor had a running. He fell off the last 2 games of the year.
Yeah.
So, Cooper Kupp, hell of a season. Congrats to him. Derek Carr, 23 touchdowns. Look, Justin, I know, man. I know. But the term valuable has to carry some weight, man. It does. And for me, Derek Carr dealing with what he had to. Throwing to Zay Jones and Edwards.
Yeah.
Darren Waller out most of the year, in and out. Josh Jacobs only finding himself the last few games of the year. Head coach getting fired mid-season. Turmoil in the building. Accusations going on. More off-the-field drama with Henry Ruggs. Come on. That's an MVP. Look, he may not have had it statistically. Sure, I can agree there. But you want to talk about a guy that carried a team mentally, emotionally. I think that has to carry some weight. I think it has to carry some weight. Justin Herbert had a better season than Derek Carr. Okay. So? Stafford did. So? MVPs? We're talking... Again, where are the Raiders? Where are the Raiders? Without Derek Carr riding the ship this year. Again, I may be crazy here. But it doesn't add up to me. I don't mind the Derek Carr MVP conversation. He has to be in it. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I drank too much coffee this morning. I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Moving on. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jeff.
This one, to me, a little easier than not. It's Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase, man, monster season, let's be honest. With Joe Burrow, we knew the connection would be there. But my God, this man going for over nearly 300 yards in a game. Absolutely tearing up secondaries. You've seen it, Joe Burrow. The connection's still there, still alive. I'm going to give it to Jamar Chase. Guy finds a way to the end zone. He's been big for the Bengals in their passing game. I know they have other receivers, but Jamar Chase has been putting up the numbers, man. Him and Justin Jefferson, those LSU dogs, LSU wide receiver university, they're built different. So give me Jamar Chase for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'll take it.
All right, I'm going to agree with you on Jamar Chase. Set records across the board. I mean, phenomenal season. Yeah. He's had games that maybe NFL players have once in their career. And he's done it, 3-4 times this year? Where he's blown up?
It's ridiculous.
Unbelievable. God bless him. Yeah, he's Offensive Rookie of the Year for me. Secondly, Defensive Player of the Year. Or excuse me, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think this one is obvious. Micah Parsons, Jeff?
Micah.
Mika. Man,
no, Micah. No,
I kept
you're right.
botching that earlier in the season.
You got to go. No, it's Micah Parsons. You're right. I mean, the guy got double-digit sacks. He's basically the anchor. You could talk about the secondary for the Cowboys. Micah is the anchor of that defense. When he's on fire, that defense is playing well. Sideline to sideline guy, 4.40. 40s. I mean, he's incredibly fast. So give me Micah Parsons, dude. He's been playing well this year, and looking back on it, the Cowboys really got a steal. I mean, this guy is going to be a very dynamic player. If you're getting compared to LT in your first season, you're doing something right. So give me Micah Parsons.
All right, I'm okay with that. Micah Parsons. Now, this is where things get interesting. Again, all year, there was nobody rooting harder for Matt LaFleur to win Coach of the Year, and I stand by that. I think he should win Coach of the Year. Having said that, I think he's earned the right. 13 wins in his first 3 years. I mean, unbelievable. The fact that he hasn't won one, but whatever, it's fine. We want to bring up Aaron Rodgers, but I can bring up the 5 years prior to Aaron Rodgers. But whatever, it's cool. But I got to say, Mike Vrabel deserves Coach of the Year more.
He does.
He is the true definition of Coach of the Year. Lost Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, all at some point in the season. And the defense was able to carry on and win football games. Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. The job, not only the job he's done, he secured the #1 seed in the AFC, guys. Derrick Henry's going to get a bye week to come back. Enjoy that. A fresh Derrick Henry running down on you in the divisional round. God, Titans might be they might be dark horses as a 1 seed, honestly. Everyone's talking about the Chargers. No, not the Chargers, guys. Or excuse me, not the Chargers, the Chiefs. Not the Chiefs. The Titans. For me, the Titans are the favorites right now. I am so excited to watch this football team come playoff time. To be 12-5, to miss your MVP on your team, the guy that allows your team to play the way it does, to finish 12-5. Hats off to Mike Vrabel, a deserving coach of the year. Matt LaFleur, you can finish second, bud, but sorry. Vrabel gets it this year.
And it's crazy to think about that. I mean, look at their division. Look at the Colts. Who has a more complete roster? Well, the Colts, arguably, but who won the division? It's the Titans. With Ryan Tannehill, no Derrick Henry for half the season, and that shows you right there, Coach of the Year. I mean, the Titans, out of all teams in the NFL, have had more players, had to fill in and play games because of COVID, and they got the job done. 12-5, 11-6, and they're going to the playoffs. So give them some credit, and Mike Vrabel deserves Coach of the Year.
I want to address our chat. Rick Biasia is being slept on. I don't think so. That's the interim coach, by the way, for Vegas, Jeff. I don't think you can win or should win a Coach of the Year as an interim coach. I immediately disqualify you. Now, has he done a phenomenal job? Absolutely. Has to be said. He may have earned the job in Vegas, some could argue. But I'm not willing to say that. I'm going to go to break real quick, guys. We'll be right back. As soon as we get back, get your questions rolling. We'll finish the last 8-9 minutes of the show with your questions. We'll see you right after the break.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Last 8-9 minutes of the show, answering your questions.
Let's do it.
Let's get started. All right. We have Swift, Jamal, and Netflix. Do we need to be wasting a draft pick on another running back? No, also have Jamar Jefferson, guys. Let's not forget.
Yeah, you don't need a running back this year.
Jamal Williams, is he even going to be on the team next year? DeAndre Swift 2 years from now? When you have that good of an offensive line, learn from the DeMarco Murray situation. You can move off the guy who led the league in rushing yards. Draft a rookie and he can lead the league in rushing yards. It's just how it works. That's just how it works in the NFL. You have an offensive line, you can run on anybody. How do you fix college football? Or would you? Ratings are down, or do you think it will fix itself with USC and Michigan back on the rise? College football will play itself out. What college football needs is Texas good, USC, big market teams, Michigan. You need those teams. Now, do you want your Michigan States, your Ohio States, all these other teams? Absolutely. You want diversity. But yeah, USC in the national championship every 5 years would be nice.
Yeah, it would.
And the college football playoff every 2-3 years would be nice. Mm-hmm. And with Lincoln Riley, they may be getting there every single year in the near future.
Give him some recruiting classes.
So I'm not sure what there is to fix about college football outside of what are you going to do? Georgia and Alabama are home to the best football prospects in the nation. They're always going to be good. Sorry, guys. Should there be a rule that only one team from each conference can get to the college football playoff? I don't even agree with that. I think the committee, again, got it right this year. I think the 4 teams that were deserving got in.
Yeah, you saw it.
That's it. End of story. So I'm not sure how you fix college football at this point. Adam, if Harbaugh leaves Michigan, who do they hire as his replacement? Patty, not only is that a great question, that is a terrifying question. A question where I won't give you a name of who they will hire, but I will tell you the result. If Harbaugh does leave Michigan, the next hire will be not only unsuccessful, but a disaster. The program will go back to 3-5 wins pretty damn quickly. And who knows? It'll take the second hire, I believe, to undo the loss of Harbaugh. I don't think they get it right away. They've never shown they have the ability to do so. So that's what I think. Is the MLB lockout going to end after this soft deadline, or will we delay to spring training? Honestly, baseball, I have no idea what they're doing right now.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody knows. They just fired a baseball analyst off the MLB Network because he questioned Rob Manfred.
I know.
Like, what the hell are we doing?
I know. It's a mess.
Unreal. Unfreaking real. I don't think the next coach is on the staff, though. Who is it? McDonald? Can he recruit at a high level? He's a defensive coordinator, guys. Does he have the charisma? Does he have the longevity to recruit at a high level against all the Big Ten teams every year? Convince them to come to Ann Arbor with that academic standard? I don't know. Gaddis? McDonald? I don't see it. I don't see it at all. What other questions do we got in the staff? Do you guys see a black uniform coming back like Dan Campbell playing days?
I hope, honestly. You saw Dan.
Are you a fan of the black jerseys?
I like them. Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I do. I like them.
Out of 10.
For me personally, I like black. I mean, in terms of like uni, so I mean, I've got a bias. I'm gonna go like 9 or 10.
So I'm with you. I'm all in. We need black jerseys back.
We do.
You need to have some fear, not this all white stuff.
I know.
Come on, let's get the black jerseys rolling. Go in all black, alternate blue. I don't know. Figure it out, Detroit.
It'd be sweet.
Let's bring back some good jerseys.
You don't like all white jerseys?
I think it's tacky.
Okay.
I do. It looks clean.
Yeah.
But football's not a clean game. It's a violent, physical game. You're supposed to look mean, not pretty. That's just my 2 cents. Could be overlooking. But anyways. Yeah, I know, CJ, they have academic waivers, but it's still a factor. It doesn't matter. It's still a factor. And again, you have to remember, Michigan is not home to the best college football players in the country. It's Georgia, it's Louisiana, it's Texas, it's California. So you're already behind the 8 ball. All right, think outside the box. If Harbaugh leaves, go after Brian Hartline or Coach Prime. Deion Sanders would never coach at the University of Michigan. If Deion Sanders ever gets a national job, it'll be at Florida State, Miami, USC. You're talking a prime school that has elite recruiting. He's not going to Ann Arbor.
Can I ask you a hypothetical? What if Matt Rule gets fired? You think Matt Rule?
I would push for Matt Rule. Okay. I love what he did at Baylor.
Guys, he's rebuilt.
And right now, so far, he's not looking like the greatest coach in the NFL. But he's a damn good coach in college. I think if you moved off Harbaugh,
someone with a resume,
and went to Matt Rule, I could be on board with that. I think it would work out. How he'd work in the Big Ten, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Adam, how do you feel about Levi going into the second round after him playing his first year? Was he worth it? No.
Yeah, it didn't.
No,
production-wise,
the second round was a bit of a miss this year. You saw some flashes. You saw some good things out of him. Levi and Aleem, you saw some things you liked, but it was extremely inconsistent. But hey, year 2 it could all change with maybe a better edge rusher, some better secondary players, some better linebackers. Maybe they look better with a better team around them. So you kind of have to wait and see. But yeah, not the most impressive first year. One more question, guys, then we got to go. NIL or academic waiver, which is more important to Harbaugh? That's a great question. I would say NIL is probably how you bring in those kids more than an academic waiver. I think NIL is the way to go, and he'll probably have to pitch hard to get more investment, like Michigan should be doing anyways.
Definitely.
But anyways, that is a wrap. Thank you so much, guys, for another great show. Beautiful Tuesday. Enjoy your Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Wednesdays, Would You Rather Wednesdays, of course. So much to talk about around the league, coaching decisions. Who knows what else can happen in 24 hours. I'm excited. The Pistons play tonight against the Bulls, Jeff, don't they?
They do.
We'll be watching Bulls debut. That should be fun. I hope they give him more than 10 minutes. That would be nice. Have a great Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.